The new setup, you don't need to know a lot, but I'm running through a better camera that's looking at the work surface. And I do have a great big huge microphone in front of me, so I hope I don't sound as computery, but who knows? After it goes out on the internet, anything could happen. I did change my position, so you see something else in the background, and my printing presses are behind me. And I hope someday soon we can open the doors and let you guys come in and play with those. All right, so first of all, let's talk about some business. And I'm going to change up. Just give me a second. All right. And you just need to look at the right screen. All right. So deep breaths, Jeff. So Mark and I have been talking over the last couple of days what we want to do with this class moving forward, because today is the last official class. It is the last class. And he has been very gracious to offer to sponsor another 3 sessions of whatever I wanted to do, and I want to continue with this class. And I spoke to a few of you over the last couple of days about that, and that seemed to be the consensus. There seemed to be enough people that wanted to move on that I think that's a great idea. I think the community that we've built, particularly on Facebook, has been really, really powerful for those of you that are involved with that. And we've had really a great great group showing up every Thursday night to do this. So we're going to have an intermediate or more advanced class. It's probably going to mean more interaction between students. I'm going to have to learn how to do that. But we will do that beginning June 11th, and it'll be 3 Thursdays again. It'll be 1 hour each Thursday. I'll do mini lessons in between. And I have all of your email addresses. So I will email all of you about that class and how to get into that. And then that will be also out on the Facebook page that we share. I'll put it out on my other Facebook pages. I'll put it out on my Instagram. And I'm actually going to add it to the website because John Muir Laws now is aware of the fact that we're doing this, and he asked for a link. So we'll also put it on the website for him. So in the meantime, if you can't wait 2 or 3 days to join the next class, you can email me tomorrow, and I will be happy to set up that next class and get you guys enrolled in that. It'll work just like this. Okay. Any questions about, oh, good. I'm glad to see it. Fantastic. Oh, also, I love to see these chats, and I think it's a great way to communicate, but I can't see them as I teach. And we don't have anybody today watching. Deanna's not upstairs watching today. She had a family thing to deal with. So if you see anything run through the chat you think I need to hear and that I'm ignoring, please speak up and let me know. I'd appreciate it. Some of you are watching that roll by. I've got it up now. I can see it, but can't watch it roll by. All right, so today is kind of a hodgepodge. I've really been watching the things that you've been working on. I am thrilled to death that you share so much work. As a teacher, it's great to open up that Facebook page and see all those things. And what's even better is I took 2 or 3 days out where I was involved with getting my book arts class going and some other things, and I wasn't involved with the Facebook page, and it just kept going. Didn't slow down at all. Lots of great comments going on, and that was fantastic. We even had a few critical comments, and I think they were handled very well by both sides. And we don't need to get into that because they were handled so well. But isn't that a nice thing to see on social media? So I guess my first question for you is, are there any questions? Is there anything that you want to ask or say to me from the get-go before we go into this? Anything you've been thinking about or trying or whatever?
Well, I found the John Muir Laws videos very good to watch and learn. And I picked up some books. Well, I had 2 bird books downstairs that I brought up and checked out. And then I borrowed one from my dad, which is a great one, the Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Birds. So that's what I did to study to do my homework this week. But then I waited till the last minute kind of to draw, but.
Well, I can't point fingers at anybody that does that.
but I love, I mean, the head's cut off, but you can see what I drew from.
Sure.
Yeah, I dove. It was pretty. It's a good picture of my photo, not my drawing.
I think next time we should make everybody put their drawings behind them.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
On your mini class, Jeff, where
Yes.
the other day, where you had that glassy stuff that you laid as an overlay over a picture,
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. And I didn't know whether it was worth mentioning for people who haven't seen that if you deliberately leave a little gap down the side of your drawing, then you can always put it in retrospectively, I suppose.
Sure.
So that if you think, oh, I want to put notes on, but I don't want to see them there all the time.
Let me switch. I'll switch to another camera and I can show you that. This is the new fancy camera. Should it be working?
Ooh.
Bang. You know, I listened to myself last week and I say bang way too often. So let's walk through. This is the book. I did 2 of these for the mini lesson because this is where I realized the camera was never going to work in my book arts class. So I went and figured this out. Also, this shadow you see in the bottom does not exist. I see no shadow. I've moved lights around. Nothing happens. I don't know what that's about, but it doesn't matter. But I would get rid of it if I could. But I took one of these concertina books like Joni won last week, and actually one of these is the prize this week. And I did this one, and then the camera didn't work, and I did a second one, but they're virtually identical. But just so you see, they're different. This is a vertical format with a marbled paper, and this is a horizontal format with a red Locta. And I just showed different ways you could make your book interesting. So I cut out a map and used it for my end papers. And we're going to talk about maps when we reconvene in June. Then I took these glassine envelopes. We talked about those a couple weeks ago. So I went out and found them, and you can buy them on Amazon. Look for stamp collector envelopes. They're cheaper that way than buying glassine. And glassine is just a polished paper. Looks like wax paper, but it's not. And so I just put a couple envelopes in here different ways. This one's just tipped in, which means it's glued in. This is a glued in coin envelope. I sewed this one in like a signature. I sewed a second book inside of a book. And then what Denise is talking about this page here is this is a sheet of glassine, the same paper that's used to make those envelopes. And it's tipped in, meaning that it's glued just on the very inside. So it works like a page. And if you ever had an old book with engravings and fancy prints in them, and there's a clear sheet on top, this is exactly what they're doing. They're putting vellum or glassine over that print to protect it, and it was tipped in. It's just glued right along this edge, so it still acts like a page. And then you can label things on that picture. And they're probably more transparent papers. They're tracing papers and vellums, synthetic vellums that would work maybe even better. But I really like this glassine. I like very traditional things. And it's got a nice crinkle. So anyway, one of these 2 books will be going out today as the big prize, and I've got that all set up to go. So thank you, Denise, for mentioning that. And I guess we're ready to go. Anybody have any other questions? Do I put my face under here? No, let's don't do that. All right. So I want to talk just for, I did away with those tiles. They caused us so many problems last week. We're just going to, the spots are driving me nuts. We're just going to go on. I've got my notes here. I know what we're doing. I want to talk today about books. And Susie really did a great job of leading into this when she talked about the Audubon Field Guide. The Audubon Field Guide is a photograph-based field guide, and I have 1 or 2 of them somewhere. I really like, and maybe it's because I'm an artist. I can look at this. I can back out. Woohoo! Because I'm an artist, I really like the field guides that are done by some of the great bird artists. Roger Torrey Peterson invented field marks. He invented the way that we look at birds in field guides. I have field guides earlier. I collect field guides. I've got them from 100 years before. But he invented the idea of the markings, the field marks that help, and he has arrows in here, that help you differentiate one bird from another. And I think those are really important in birding. And he also, if you read about his artwork, he doesn't talk about it in the book so much, but he exaggerates those field marks ever so slightly, so that's what you know to look for. That's what your eye goes to when you're in the field. And he spent his lifetime doing these paintings. And I think if you've ever done any birding, you know that Roger Tory Peterson guides. This is a fairly recent one. It's not the most recent. And as you can see, it gets used a lot. I also like David Sibley. David Sibley is a contemporary. He is still working and still drawing and still painting and still writing books. And they are every bit as good. They're not quite as traditional, and I love tradition. The drawings aren't as big. As you can see, they don't have field marks in them the same way that Roger Tory Peterson did, and I think those are important. If I'm differentiating a vireo, I want to see what that eye ring is. If I crow on a raven, I want to see what the tail shape is. I need a little arrow telling me that. But this is also a fantastic field guide. So I go for the field guides that have paintings rather than pictures, photographs, because I think they accentuate the things we need to look for. And as an artist, my job is to take that bird that I'm seeing and it turn into a symbol that goes on paper. And this artist or Roger Tory Peterson, they've already done that. So they've already taken that step in between for me, or at least can walk me through that step. Anybody have any comments about field guides or their favorite guides?
If I use a couple of pocket guides for Indiana species, I'll hold them up here.
This is one from England, C.F. Tunnicliffe, Sketches of Bird Life, and lots of sketches of birds just doing birdie things.
I like that. And I saw Brad was holding up a fold-out field guide, a laminated field guide. Is that right, Brad? We have all,
exactly.
yeah. Do we have everybody's mics off? Do I need to do something about that?
Wow.
I like the Sibley as well, and I have the app on my phone now because I use it all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm out, and along with the Warbler one, I actually got that one this spring as well. So I like those. I have the Peterson, and Ken Kaufman is another favorite of mine. So I unfortunately have a stack in my, what I call a stack in my living room. But I'm using more of the apps online when I'm actually out, and then when I come back, I can look up more information about them when I have more time. They all have, you know, some are drawings, some are pictures, photos rather, and it's nice to have a variety because you can catch something in one that you might not catch in the other, and it's been a big help for me. So.
Well, I am also a sucker for field guides. I'm looking at a stack that's about a foot thick over the side.
Yeah, I saw yours.
My problem with these modern field guides is they've just gotten so big. You know, these things weigh a pound or two, and they're big. They don't fit in my bag. They do fit in my bag, but you got to cram them in. And this is what Peterson's looked like, 20 years ago. And this was simple and easy, and I could even fit that in my pocket. The softbound was the same size. So I would really like to see somebody come up with something that was as comprehensive as the big ones, but fit in a pocket. I don't know. But then look at how small these pictures were. And I have a first edition. They're in black and white. So they've come a long way. All right. So again, talking about field guides, I want to throw this one up too. I put this on I think on Instagram today. I don't think it was on our page. This is a book that was lost to me. And thanks to Amazon and AbeBooks, you can get these things back, right? I was a creek stomper. I grew up disappearing to the creek and to the ponds around me and coming back drenched and muddy and with a bucket with a bucket full of critters. And this was the book that I bought in junior high that really got me through those years. It's not a dynamic, beautiful book. It's black and white lab drawings, technical drawings. But if you go out to creeks and lakes, there are not any beautiful field guides for those kind of things. It's kind of hard to find a beautiful illustrated guide to mussels or to, insect larvae or single cell animals or worms. So this is, even though I think it's probably out of print, it was written in 1966. This is a fantastic book to carry with you if you're doing any kind of study on the water or near the water. And it's a classic field guide. It goes from the lowest order animals, single-celled animals, or single-celled organisms up through plants and ends, I don't know if it goes all the way to birds and mammals or not. It doesn't. It ends with reptiles. So this is a fantastic book. If you're doing those things that, not the pretty animals, the mammals and the birds and the things that they make really nice field guides for. All right. So today, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but one of the things I want to do is a color study. I showed this from one of my journals, and there were people that asked me to do it today. I want to see. Yeah, you can all see my workspace, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Look how clean and crisp that is. So I just pulled out fairly, not completely random, but fairly at random, some colored pencils, and I want to put them in order. And I guess I should ask, what order do we put these in? What order? I put them in spectrum order. What order would that be?
Start with yellow, maybe? As the palest, or?
Roy G. Biv.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. But thank you, Denise. So Roy G. Biv, well, it was a cartoon in Mechanics Illustrated, and my father actually had it hanging in the shop. And it's the color of the spectrum. And so I like to arrange my pencils in this order. My paints are in this order in my studio. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And so I like to, when I do a study like this, I like to throw my pencils in that order. So we've got red, orange, yellow. I've got 2 greens, a blue, and then things like brown. What do you do with them? I tack them on the end. Some of you may have better ideas. So I'm going to take these colors, and we're going to just do a quick color study. And if I were going to do this and really be serious about it, and I'm just demonstrating it for you. This is something you can do. This is homework that you can do. I'd love to see you post it. I could write the color of my pencil up here. You can do this with paints too. Just keep it fast. I'm going to put numbers. So that's PC 924, and I'm going to put PC. Bear with me for a minute. This will make sense. And then I'm going to just hash a line straight down. I'm going to turn it 9. I have to draw towards me. I'm left-handed. It's my quirk. I write sideways. So I'm going to be spinning things around. I'm going to hash that out. And then I'm going to take the orange. And this orange is PC 918, PC 918. And then I'm going to hash that. Let's do one more. I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to stop labeling. But again, if you do this on your own, you want to label them because you want to know, you want to have a reference. So I'm going to take this yellow across. I'm going to take this green, do the same thing. I'm going to skip the other green just for time. Take this blue. And I've not done this very carefully, so I'm not sure what our results are going to be like. I think I probably have the one I did here. I didn't mark it, so I don't know. But anyway, the point of this exercise is to look at the intersections. Look at what you've got where these are crossing and examine those colors so that you begin to get a sense of how these pencils lay over each other. Now, if I were to do this again, I'd do it a lot lighter. I probably went way too heavy because I was working fast. But I would go over these and then focus those colors so that you see how these colors blend. Because in the end, you're going to want to be able to use those colors well, here's where I was doing this. There we go. There's one of the ones I did. And when you draw something and you blend from one to another, you want to have a sense of where that goes and how those colors work together. And you can refer back to a chart like that. Now we can mix 2 or 3 colors at a time. So there are ways you can do that too, where you're mixing several colors. This is where I and I don't want to talk about how I did what I was doing here, but I laid them all on a color wheel. Hi, this is Jeff. It's the next afternoon, and I'm working on the video, and I discovered we only got about a third of it last night. I was getting all kinds of computer notices yesterday that I didn't have much memory left, and I dumped and dumped and dumped all kinds of files. But I wanted to keep the movies because I need to share those with some other folks, and I just didn't have the memory. And we bumped out, and I noticed it, but there wasn't anything I could do about it during the lesson. So I have ordered an external hard drive. That's not going to be a problem anymore. We'll keep our videos in other places. But I do apologize that you're going to be missing 2/3 of this lesson. So if you have any questions, I just got the disc full warning again. If you have any questions, just email me, gbdavisfolkart@gmail.com. I'd be glad to help you with that. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.